Thanks, Tracy.
All right, looks like everybody's still hanging there in the crowd. I would like to say too, if you need to freshen your drink or catch the restroom, I certainly won't be offended. I want to make sure you guys enjoy your time here, so please dive into it. So when I think about all of my travels, with the company, across our 9 counties, a lot of times the people, the customers ask me, Michael, what's new? Every salesman wants to pull in the driveway and roll the cob around a little bit and ask, hey, how's the weather? Or, how's the family? All those things are really, really important. But, as it relates to what's new, that's what I'm going to focus my brief time here tonight talking about, is to take a look at some of the things we've evaluated on research and share a few of those things with you. Now, I can't do justice all of the work that our crop specialists and our team did here this summer. But my hope is that some of these topics interest you just enough where you've got some good follow-up questions that you can ask for them, because all of them are carrying around a 125-page book full of our MiField trials. So what is a MiField trial? A MiField trial is it's on-farm research. It's research in our customers' fields, farmed the way that you farm. There's a lot of research out there that, a small block research where, they do it with backpack sprayers, and, it's just, they're not done in the way that you farm. So the thing that really excites me about this research is, it's not my data, it's your data. And we're really excited to share that with you, okay? So when you dive into the areas that we focused on this past year for our on-farm research, really we dove into a couple things. So Tracy already spoke a little bit to our seed performance and placement trials. So all the data that she shared with you is in those books, and the crop specialist can share that with you. And I'm sorry I'm cutting out. I'm not quite sure why that is. Followed by some seed treatment information, and then we get into some furrow management and fertilizer management. So a lot of that is talking about micronutrients and biostimulants, which we'll talk about both of those. And then lastly, fungicides and a few growth promoters. So, as it relates to, looking back on the growing season, every single growing season is a series of hundreds and hundreds of decisions that take place. Sometimes maybe you feel like there's 100 decisions you made in a single day. Other times, maybe that was a pretty easy day and we're just executing the plan. However, Mother Nature is always throwing things at us that make it difficult, and make it difficult for you as producers to manage risk. And part of what we believe is it's our responsibility to evaluate those products that are going to help you do that and enhance your return on investment. Because if I ask by a show of hands, how many times have you had a salesman pull up your driveway and say, "Oh, this is 5 bushels. You need to think about this product. It's 5 bushels. It's 5 bushels. It's 5 bushels." So I'm seeing a few snickers in the crowd where maybe that happens. And hopefully, what you'll see here is I'm not going to put a series of slides in front of you that are just showing, hey, it's 5 bushel or 6 bushels. The slides are going to show your return on investment, because I think that's what really matters to your operation when you think about investing in the crop, getting a positive return, and improving your bottom line. Because in our mind, if we can bring you the technologies and products, from the really talented people we believe that we employ, it's going to have a really positive impact on your bottom line. Tracy mentioned it already. I think the biggest thing that, whether it's the drought of 2012 and some of those plans that you had in the crop, or every growing season that we've had since then, and they've all been a little bit different, is time and time again, when we get to the end of the year, there's times where it's like, man, I really wish I would have made that second trip of second pass of nitrogen. Man, I can't believe the fungicide results, that late season disease hit us. But it seems like time and time again, no matter what Mother Nature has thrown at us, is 9 times out of 10, when we don't give up on the crop and we stick to the management plan that we started out to, really good things happen to your bottom line. So just really ask you guys to think about that. Because what happened this past year, and this is in the book and we'll take a look at it, but looking at the weather station in Mattoon, we were over 6.5 inches of rainfall behind in our trade territory versus the lifetime average. So some of you in a situation where, hey, my corn was good, but it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be, or man, my beans, we just lost that top end punch. Well, April and May, we're almost 5 inches of rain behind. We got a little bit of rain in June and July, but it didn't make up for what we lost in April and May. And then August, we're an inch off the average, and hardly anything to speak of in the month of September. So should we be surprised at what happened at the tail end? No. However, on some of this research, when we look at those that stuck to the plan and continued to invest in the crop, still delivered some really positive ROI. So when you think about all the things that many of you are doing to maximize yield and to maximize return on investment, you're planning early. All of your equipment is set up. You're placing hybrids and varieties right. You're managing weeds. You're monitoring the crop. You're giving it the NP and K. So much of the questions that you're asking us here over the last several years are around, how can we better spoon feed that crop to give it, what it needs in time to spread those kind of nutrient applications out. And then how can we better use fungicides? And then lastly is, man, I keep hearing people talking about, folic acids and biostimulants and growth promoters. And there's a lot of products coming online, but these are a lot of the products that we took a quick look at. So the other thing I want to share with you is I've talked a little bit about tissue sampling. So the question is, what's going on in the crop that it's short of? So for the last 2 years, we've had each location, pick a corn and soybean field. We've tissue sampled it 3 times during the course of the growing season. And when we take all those results for the last 2 years, in corn, it comes back to shortages in these 4 micronutrients. It's boron, zinc, manganese, and sulfur. And in-season micronutrient deficiencies in our soybean crop, it's copper, potassium, and calcium. So what I ask you guys to think about when you're putting that crop plan together for this next year with your crop specialist is have them share some of this data with you and think about, through some of my already planned applications or management practices, how can I start to address some of those? And I've got a few suggestions here for you. There's a lot of way to get those products to the plant. Some of you are looking at, hey, I'm doing some in-season applications in corn, whether that's through maybe some early urea over the top, or maybe I'm doing some side dress, and we've got options both ways. The other thing is some of you are looking at this thing saying, man, I really, if you came to me and said you're going to take the starter system off my planter, we're going to have it's fighting words. And there's just as many of you that are saying, if you're coming to me saying you want me to put starter on my planter, it's fighting words. So we certainly understand that some of you, and there's not one size that fits all, but the great thing about this is we can skin the cat several different ways, depending upon what's going to work for your operation. Because we've done a lot of work looking at what seed applied options do we have, especially in corn and even overtreating soybeans, where we can get some of these products on the seed. So the first couple products that we looked at quite a bit in research this past year, one is a Procoat and the other one is Wolftrax. So both of these products contain boron, zinc, and manganese. One is a liquid that we're putting over the top of dry fertilizer. The other is a dry product that actually sticks to the fertilizer particle. The nice thing about both of these products is you get uniform distribution across the field, and you're delivering those micronutrients packages both ways. The other nice thing about Procoat is, if you're running some spraying applied fertilizer, it's a great opportunity to maybe run half a gallon on your P&K applications, and then come back in season if you're running some urea over the top with another half gallon to continue to kind of spoon feed that. But when I take all of these trials, and the thing about these, and these are real world situations, these were split fields. When I run the yield response on both of these products, and a lot of these were delivered with urea applications, early in that V5 to V8 time frame, our return, every single one of these was positive return on investment, and it ranged anywhere between $8 and $60 an acre return for a very small investment, but giving that crop some of what it needs. The other thing that I'll talk just a little bit about is, biostimulants and growth promoters. Okay, how do you speak to, or how do I explain what these products are? This is kind of like giving that crop a steroid shot in the arm, right? It's like putting on the afterburners. It's like turning on the turbocharger. But the thing about it is if you don't already have enough horsepower under the hood, or the plant is missing something else, they're not going to be effective for you. So for those of you that are sitting there saying, hey, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this to maximize yield, and I'm ready for something else, this is a great opportunity to start taking a look at some of those products, because they bring a lot of different characteristics, whether that's help getting out of the ground, better use water, better early season root growth, enhanced plant resistance. And I'll show you some pictures that demonstrate some of the things, but a lot of different products to discuss with your crop specialist. So one option that we've looked at this past year in research is called Flotegic G. So this is actually a graphite and talc replacement. So kind of help with some of that seed lubricity. to move that product through your planter, through your meters better, whether you're running a vac system or finger pickups. But it's a graphite talc replacement, and it's got some micros in it. So, that product is delivering right into the furrow, and it's giving a nice little boost and a nice little kick. You can see a little bit of the difference of, actually not a little bit, a pretty dramatic difference in that early season root development with a product that very, very low investment, something you're probably doing already, but if you're throwing some graphite and talc in, why not have a product that's got some micros in it? The other that you see here is called NutriSeed. So this would be the product treated, but we're actually taking corn. So as you know, all the corn seed that we get our hands on comes treated from the factory. So whether that's Tracy's Envision or DeKalb, it's coming treated. So what we're doing is we're taking that box, we're actually over-treating it with a biostimulant, a growth promoter, and a micronutrient pack. So we're delivering quite a bit to that plant early on. And again, a great way to get those products on the seed, where, for those of you knowing that we continue to have really tight planting windows, it's a great opportunity for us to have something on the seed where you can dump it and go and don't have to manage with some other things. These trials for NutriSeed specifically, again, positive, $4 to $38 an acre return on investment. So again, something else worth talking to your crop specialist about. The other thing I'd like to point out there is when we did those NutriSeed trials, one of the components of NutriSeed is called Periscope. And what we saw is it really helped even out emergence of that corn plant coming out of the ground. Any good seeds person that's worth their weight in gold will talk to you, or equipment expert, right, Ryan? Is us getting this seed out of the ground in a narrow window of time and as soon as possible is going to help maximize yield. Because those late emergers, the seeds in this example that came, these all came up in day one.